Yo, as y'all can see from the title, there are spoilers in this video. If you watch Top Boys, the balaclava, the one and only, don't ask your girl, she know me. With no further ado, we got Top Boy Season 3. Who did it, man? Who killed bruh at the ending, man? With no further ado, let's get into it.
With the final chapter of Top Boy being released and the ending of the show finishing in a way that took all of us by surprise, it concluded with the massive question out there: who killed Sully in the closing moments? Well, I thought I'd tell
Sully was on madness, badness. Sully was on madness and badness combination all season, man. The whole season, man. He was just, man, he was not tolerating any type of. It started the end of season 2, you know, with Jamie. You know what I'm saying? Like how he did Jamie, like, and it was just after that, it was just he was not letting nobody slide, man.
you who I
So it really could have been anybody. Sully has so much beef, especially from Top Boy Summer House too. I never seen the first season of Top Boy Summer House. I don't know why they don't have it on Netflix, but I mean maybe they have it now, but at least the last time I looked it wasn't on it. And man, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It is crazy.
feel did it, along with lining up all of the main suspects and elaborating on what their motive could have been. So let's get into it. Here is who
Personally, I think it could have been Jack. Jack. The obvious answer, the answer everybody wanted to be is Jack. Personally, I feel it's somebody, not even feel, I think it's somebody from season 3. I don't think they're going to make it somebody from Summer House. They never brought anyone from Summer House back, right? And I forgot what clip it was, but there was a clip I had seen basically saying, like, originally they shot it showing the person's face, and then they decided it was more powerful when they didn't show the face, so they went with that. So with that being said, and just knowing how Top Boy kind of rolled out these last 3 seasons, it's got to be somebody from these last 3 seasons. It could not be nobody else. That being said, who do you really think it could be? It was probably Jack. Probably Jack.
killed Sully in Top Boy Season 3. Just to let
But it also could have been Sully's cousin. Like, it could have been so many people. But personally, I definitely feel like it was Jack.
you know, this video will contain spoilers. Jax. There are 2 or 3 individuals that I think are the most likely options for being the suspects in taking out Sully. The first of these is Jax, and I feel like she's the most
Why does he keep calling her Jax? Why does man keep calling her Jax?
likely culprit out
What's
of
going
them all.
on, bro?
Things weren't left on the best of terms between both Sully and Jax following her taking the food, and with Sully saying that Jax didn't get a free pass following Deshane robbing her.
The whole storyline with this last season it was so rushed. It was so rushed. She was so stressed from the whole situation. She went and stole the food from Sully, which that makes sense. What doesn't make sense is that you're gonna call Big Badman Sully. You're gonna call the Big Badman. Like, you're gonna call Sully, thinking he's gonna give you a pass for stealing this shit? Oh, man.
It meant
Like,
that she could have
why?
been killed by Sully at any moment in the future. I personally don't think that she wanted to leave the chance of being alive the next day up to fate. Plus, something to remember as well is that Sully was responsible for the killing of Kieran.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did get rid of Karen, too. And Karen... Bro, I've never seen nobody... If you know, you know. If you watch this, man, these scenes were so, like, these scenes were up there with Power. If you ever seen Power and you seen Zeke in Power, those dumbass faces Zeke be making in Power, man. Kieran took a page out of Zeke's book. It just was, like, just looking sorry, just looking sweet. He should have just let immigration take him. All of this would have been avoided if he let immigration take him. I don't know why he didn't, man.
Jax's brother and long-term friend, which was
That dumbass face he was just making to Jack is the face he was making to Sully. Sully. Big bad Sully. You think Sully's gonna let that? Come on, man.
something that she single-handedly felt responsible for getting him involved, as we saw in this scene in the finale. So I think the motive of revenge, whilst also doing it to protect herself, Bex and the baby, provides
Yeah.
enough substance to warrant a motive for
And it was the jacket. She was, you know what I mean? The most obvious part was the jacket she was
Jax
wearing.
to be behind it. The look on her face the final time that we saw her when she told Bex that everything was going to be alright showed that there was something dark going on
Yep.
inside of her head. When looking at the
It's very also it's also very reminiscent to Top Boy season two's ending, right? Because right before Sully did what he did to, I ain't the Stephs, bro, he had the same type of energy. It was like, I know what I'm gonna do. They're obviously not gonna say what they're gonna do, but they gave you the hint basically in the show that, oh yeah, Sully's gonna do something crazy probably in the next scene that we see him in. The same thing happened with Jack. The last season was so erratic and so it was just rushed. I don't think it was done bad. I just think it was rushed. They could have elongated the things. A lot of the storylines in the plot, they could have elongated them. Like the Irish guys, that seriously could have been elongated. That whole process, they just went out too sweet. They came in with a bang, and we thought they were gonna be crazy, and they just, you know, and even the guys from last season, right? They just, the guys from last season who Jamie was working with just kind of disappeared in a way. It was strange to see how it happened, but yeah, man, like I don't know. Like personally, it definitely could have been paced a little bit better.
physical appearance of the individual outside of the car, it's difficult to gauge height due to the camera angle and the way that the camera was positioned in a slightly
And pausing it just like that too, make it look like Jack as well.
upright fashion. But when moving through the scenes slowly, it very much looked like they were wearing the attire that Jax was wearing when she went into the house and took the food from the basement. Whilst it's something that anybody could just throw on, and it's just all black to conceal identity, knowing that only moments earlier in the show she was wearing something similar, it definitely adds weight behind the theory. I know there's going to be some arguments of the suspect having blonde or brown hair, but I don't think that's the case at all. If you look at how the
That's most definitely a hat and not hair.
sunlight hits the jacket towards the bottom of it, it hits the top of the head in the exact same way. So I just think they've got a hood up and the sun is making it look like a different color.
I don't think that's a hood. I think that's just a bright hat.
The Irish. The second most likely suspect that I think it could be is the Irish. Within this new season of the show, we saw that a new gang was introduced.
Sully made so many enemies, man. Even going back to season one, Modi's. You know what I mean? Like Modi's, the guy who teamed up, Sully's cousin. So many enemies, man. So many. When he was helping his cousin, I think her name was Tish too. Like so many enemies, man. Like it literally could have been anybody.
To us, led by Tague, but with operations being run by Johnny in London. The pair were killed by Sully way before the end of season 3. We saw that these individuals were big dogs. They took out the Moroccans with no effort whatsoever, because
The Moroccans, that's who I was thinking about.
there was no news spread that there was trouble, so they clearly meant business and were efficient.
Man, what's going on, man? We guys at
With the two figureheads of the gang being killed by Sully, word could have gotten back to Ireland, and they could have sent somebody out to come and get revenge for the attack and killing that Sully did to them. It's a simple retaliation, and one that would be expected from any gang following an attack, unless the Irish dismantled following what happened, but I find that hard to believe. The only thing that makes me question that it's them is that it went against what we saw them do earlier on in the season with the whole box to Tash thing. So whilst the motive is there and a retaliation being something that one would expect, it does mean that it could well have been them. Sai. Sai is the suspect that I head towards after Jax and the Irish. I think it could have been him for a number of different
Sai got bitch so bad, man. Sai got bitch so bad, bro. that shit, man. That was crazy. I don't think it was Sai. Sai was scared shitless of Sully, man. And they got me doing tongue twisters, bro. They got me doing alliteration in this motherfucker. Sai was scared shitless of Sully, man. Quit it, man. Quit it.
Different reasons. Sai was always rocking with Jamie back in the day and was part of his crew, way before Jamie joined forces with the Shane in the beginning of season 4. So there was loyalty to Jamie which was present. Within this season, we saw that Stefan admitted to Sai that he knew that it was Sully that killed Jamie, a suspicion that Sai had had for a while. So the motive for revenge is something that would definitely be there, to honour his brother who was killed. Towards the end of the season, we saw a scene where Sully essentially accused Sai of taking the food, and we went on to see a horrific moment taking place, where Sully essentially rendered Sai into a complete mess. It was so difficult to watch, and I imagine that could have been a moment that just clicked inside of Sai's mind, and it may have added an extra motive there, to just—
Sai was just too sweet this season, man. Yo, what's up with the tongue twisters? He was just too sweet. Like, he wasn't really, aside from getting that chain back for Steph. But aside from that, like, Sai wasn't really doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, Sai was always one of those background characters, like, and then he really became a big character only because Jamie and Kit were gone. And what happened to that other girl? Hold on. What happened to that other girl? The girl who shot Leighton's knee. Shorty just dipped. I'm just now like clocking that. Man, Top Boy, y'all got some explaining to do. Y'all really rushed this season. It was a great series, but it could have been a lot better. They rushed the last 2 seasons for sure.
Get rid of the person that he detests more than anybody in the world. Whilst Sai hasn't necessarily come across as the toughest of them all before, with the Shane gone, Jack's no longer by Sully's side, Kieran gone, and Sully's new guy, Junior, gone, Sully was kind of on his own now when it came to having protection around him, so fueled with revenge in his mind for Jamie, and also for what Sully did to him when he entered the flat, he might have just thought that it was his time to act. Whilst there's not a ton of evidence that would point to it, I would say that it's definitely a viable option. Stefan. Even though we had the face-off with Stefan and Sully right at the end of the season finale, we know that there was full motive there for Stefan to take Sully out. His entire story arc was focused around him getting ready to do
it. Wasn't Steph. That was too tall to be Steph.
However, personally, I think this is a very unlikely option. The only reason he's made it into this video is because he had a weapon on him. He was in the vicinity of the car, and moments earlier he was holding the weapon up to Sully, so there is a strong chance that it could well have been him, and Stefan could have changed his mind. But with the conversation that we saw moments earlier, personally, I don't think it is. Aaron. Aaron was Jamie's brother as well, and there's some theories floating around that it could have been him.
Really? Really? Why is this even a section of the video? You know he's got homework for uni. He's got uni. He's got to study. Come on.
Whilst yes, there is a
those were his only lines in the whole show. That's why he left. There's a video of him saying his I forgot the guy who played him. But the guy who played Arab was basically saying like there was no character development for him. So he just left. Like, and I don't blame him. It's just like all his lines were, it was like, I got uni. Oh, the most powerful scene he had was when Jamie went to jail, and then after that, it was like he went right back to being a character with just a static character, no growth whatsoever, no growth, no dynamicacy of word. Like he just wasn't dynamic. He was just static.
Motive there for him to want to get revenge, but let's be honest, Aaron wasn't made for the streets. Nor would he be the type of person to do something like that in broad daylight. He wasn't even around to be there for Steph following their brother's death, which did surprise me. He was working up in Leeds instead. He cares more for the books than he does blood, so I don't think it was him despite there being some theories. Ronell. Nah, I'm doing this one for a joke as there's no chance that
they're not bringing the old character back. This is what I've been saying.
It was him. But including Ronell is symbolic of why the ending was so powerful and left unidentified. Ronell never liked Sully, and Sully never liked Ronell, ever since he killed Leon back in the first season of Summer House. This was Ronell's father figure. This could have been something that was burning up inside of him, and now that he was an adult, he could have looked to have finally got revenge for it. That's almost the beauty of this ending. It could well have been Ronell, because there's nothing to say that it's not. Revenge isn't planned, and Sully
literally could have been anybody.
Didn't expect to die when he got in the car. So the darkness of the show and the prominence of revenge can hit you out of the blue, just like that, especially if you've crossed a lot of people. Over the years, Sully had made so many enemies that he himself couldn't even keep up with who wanted him dead. The beauty of this ending and the fact that we'll most likely never know who it was that killed him highlights the brutality of the lifestyle that he chose to lead on the streets. And whilst even though he was spared by one person who wanted to kill him, Stefan, it didn't mean that he was safe. There was always somebody else that was out there that had been impacted by a murder that he committed, so he was never going to be safe. The streets caught up with him, and eventually, they took him. There was never going to be an easy way out, and Sully met his end. Personally, I think it's Jax. The motive, the attire.
Why does he keep saying Jax?
And the fact that she stood to gain the most from Sully being gone, which was freedom and the fact that she didn't need to look over her shoulder anymore. But hey, I guess this is one that I imagine there's going to be divisive debates over. So, there you have it, Top Boy Season 3, Who Killed Sully? If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_.
Make sure y'all subscribe to Brain Pilot, man. Dope vid. Man, the irony, man. The show is called Top Boy. And the top boy got killed by the real top boy, but then the real top boy got killed by a top gal. That's tough. Man, very rushed show in the end, but definitely one of Netflix's most entertaining shows that they've had. If you haven't watched it, make sure y'all do. And if you haven't watched and you're watching a spoiler, I feel sorry for you. I ain't gonna lie. But hey, man, like, comment, sub up. Let me know what y'all thought about the video. Catch y'all.